Welcome to GPVWC and Formula Sprint 2, where in 2025 we will see some returning names and some new ones challenging for both the teams and drivers' championships. First up is Scuderia Cap Clay. Finnish squads Scuderia Cap Clay were 4th last season and have been consistently best of the rest and in the top 5 since 2022. However, a title challenge has never quite come together for them. This season, team owner Mikael Tuomala is partnered by Junio Lopez, who joins Cap Clay full-time after impressing at the end of last year. Tuomala stays on for his 5th season in Formula Sprint 2 with the Cap Clay squad. Last season he was in the points 22 times and scored 3 podiums, including a win in the reverse grid race at Singapore on his way to 5th in the championship, exactly where he finished in 2023. The experience and consistency is clearly there. Now is the time for the fit to deliver. Portuguese driver Lopez had a difficult start to life in the GPV ladder after winning races in Academy. He was dropped by KB86 Powerhouse after a tough start to 2023, but he seemed to come good when joining Cap Clay in the second half of last season, taking a first podium in the reverse grid race at Spa before following it up with another in the rain-affected feature race at Singapore. There were, however, some accidents, and he'll be hoping to steer clear of trouble this time around. Priority One Esports. 24 was a breakthrough year in FS2 for owner-driver Craig Patterson and his team from the Isle of Guernsey, as they broke into the winner's circle for the very first time. Unsurprisingly, the team is sticking with the tried and tested lineup of Patterson and teammate Jonas Carrala, who proved to be an effective duo last season. Patterson had his best Formula Sprint 2 season, finishing 3rd last season, and he took his first victory in the reverse grid race at Imola, along with 5 other podiums, including a second win at Interlagos, leading home the first ever 1-2 for Priority One. Going from strength to strength, Patterson is bullish about his title chances and is expected to be a frontrunner once more. After joining Patterson at the end of 2023, Jonas Carrala had a difficult first half to 2024, the culmination being his double retirement in Montreal. However, things started to click after mid-season, with a podium in the reverse grid race at Austria leading to more consistent points finishes in the second half. He ended the season on a high, finishing 15th in the drivers' table after backing up Patterson to secure that 1-2 in the Brazil finale, his best finish yet, as he hopes to go one better in 2025. Next is Team RNG. Anthony Nickpon's Polish RNG team had never finished in the top 10 in FS2 since making their debut in 2021. After finishing last in the places in the Team Championship in 2023, the English duo of James Knox and Ben Skinner turned their fortunes around with regular points finishes in the top 10 and 3 podiums in 2024. Skinner has been retained for 25 and is joined by the promising Dutchman Thijs Jongstra. After solid performances in Academy and a strong run to the points for 0-1 Esports in Imola, Skinner was signed in his rookie season last year by RNG and eventually delivered on that promise with a reverse grid podium in Hockenheim. Another podium would follow at Singapore along with a string of low points finishes. Now the lead driver of the team, Skinner's task is to build on the promise he showed last year. Youngstra was another rookie making his Formula Sprint 2 debut in 2024. After substitute drives at Reading Game and the Academy team, Youngstra was signed by 0-1 Esports from mid-season onwards, ironically as a replacement for his future teammate Skinner. He did a solid job with 8 points finishes, including 2 7th places in the final 2 reverse grid races of the season. Hunter Birch Simulation. After a promising rookie season in Formula Sprint 2 saw them place 8th in the 2024 standings, the British Racing Green team, owned and named after commentators Edward Hunter and Joshua Birch, are back for their second campaign in GPVWC. Race winner Joe Gillette stays on the driver lineup from last season, and he's joined by Magnus Ockenhaug, the Norwegian, fresh off his 4th place finish in last year's Drivers' Championship. After scoring a podium for ST Racing in 2023 in Abu Dhabi, Gillette signed to drive for the new team in 2024. After a tough start to the year, Smokey Joe was able to finish consistently in the top 10, scoring 21 points finishes across the season, including a first FS2 win for both driver and team in the wet at Silverstone, followed by a reverse grid triumph at the Hockenheim Ring. He ended last season 7th in the points table, and this time around is aiming to be close to the front on a regular basis. Ockenhaug enjoyed a strong season in Formula Sprint 2 with Optiminal in 2024, taking an impressive 26 points finishes, including 4 podiums, 2 of which were reverse grid wins at Shanghai and the Circuit of the Americas. His efforts last season helped Optiminal to 2nd in the standings, and his signing is a big statement of intent by Hunter Birch, as they aim to break into the top 5. Reading Game Studios Racing. Narrowly pipped by friends and rivals Hunter Birch by a mere 3 points last season, Tom Dillon's Reading Game team are keen to strike back in their 3rd season after a promising start to 2024 came undone when Mateusz Majka left the squad to join Optimal and then went on to win the Drivers' Championship. This time the white and blue squad have opted for the services of relative newcomers Kasper Koritz and Brodie Lawless. The Estonian Koritz got his big break in FS2 mid-season in 2024 with Friesland after multiple wins in the Academy Series. At Imola he was just 4 seconds off the victory with a strong drive to second place. He had 14 points finishes across this part season and took 3 more podiums at Barcelona, Silverstone and the Circuit of the Americas. With 13th in the standings last season, there's every chance that Koritz could have a breakout season with Reading Game. Britain's Lawless is another driver with multiple wins in Academy who broke into FS2 last season. However, luck was not on his side with 9 non-finishes from 16 appearances. He ended the season with a stellar performance to take his first podium with 0-1 in the season finale at Interlagos. Brodie will aim to build on this and stay out of trouble, or else he could become a law unto himself this season. Hutt Performance Engineering. Former podium finisher Dan Hutt brings his HPE team back for a 3rd season in FS2 after stepping down for the driver lineup in the middle of last season. After 2 finishes in 10th in the team's table, the Dutch outfit will be hoping to finally break the top 10 and is keeping continuity in the driving lineup with race winner Bobby Vakuinov and Johannes Leppert both staying on. Vakuinov embarks on his 3rd season in FS2 in 2025. Last season he scored 20 points finishes and got 2 reverse grid podiums in the USA and Brazil on his way to 11th in the points table. Now with a stable home at Hutt Performance, Vakuinov is expected to continue to be a reverse grid specialist. Johannes Leppert took over from the team owner Hutt in the middle of last season, after also doing 7 races with the team in 2023. In 24 he scored points on 5 occasions, but is yet to finish in the top 10, something he will seek to rectify this time around. Exelion Motorsport. Roy Seifert started the Exelion team last season after finishing 3rd in the standings for Red Ven Racing in 2023. The team enjoyed 2 reverse grid victories in Japan and Belgium, but infrequent point finishes and a fluid driver lineup meant that they placed 13th. Podium finisher James Knox and race winner Kurti Rotjav now join the yellow outfit, hoping to push it up the standings. British driver Knox impressed in Academy to the point that he got signed full-time with Team RNG. He was in the points 20 times on his way to 10th in the standings, with the highlight being his reverse grid podium in Shanghai. It's no surprise that Exelion have been knocking at Knox's door to get him to sign in the dotted line for 2025. Estonian Rotjav is another Academy driver who got his break in FS2 last year and immediately impressed, eventually settling in with ST Racing mid-season in a campaign that saw him finish 15th in the drivers' standings after 17 points finishes, a reverse grid win in Austria and a podium in Monza's reverse grid round. Eager to prove himself, expect him and new teammate Knox to be evenly matched. ST Racing. 24 was another difficult season for Mark Fuller's ST Racing outfit, but were yet to finish inside the top 11 in the team's table. Rotjav's win in Austria was the team's first since 2022, but it did show some long-awaited signs of recovery for the team. Mainstay Mihailo Vicentijevic stays on for a 4th campaign, and this time around he's joined by the exciting young talent of Mano Manikandan. Vicentijevic had an eventful 2024, although not for the right reasons. He had the most non-finishes of anybody, and after 3 full seasons he is yet to join the ranks of FS2 point scorers. With over 20 years of sim racing experience under his belt, the Serbian admits that his best results are probably behind him. If he can break into the top 15 this season though, not a single driver in GPV would begrudge him a breakthrough point. Indian driver Manikandan was a bit of a wild card in 2024, with some substitute rounds in the midfield. He scored his first point with an impressive drive in the wet for Smile Power in China, but he was also involved in more than his fair share of accidents. Nonetheless, the pace is definitely there, and ST will be hoping he can stay out of trouble and provide some giant-killing feats in 2025. Scuderia Freccianera. Luca Tizzano's lean, mean, black and green team endured a tough sophomore season in FS2 last year, slipping down to 15th in the team standings. However, it's all changed in the driver lineup for 2025, as podium finisher Damir Koratko is partnered by rookie Josh Flynn. Koratko was very impressive in Academy last season, leading him to land a drive at Hunter Birch. He delivered a fantastic second place at Silverstone, just behind Christos Philo, but unfortunately he racked up a lot of penalty points and was banned for a race after causing a lap 1 pile-up at Baku. Whilst consistency was hard to come by, he did manage 8 points finishes and ended on a high with 4th place at Brazil. Now he's landed on his feet at Freccianera, expect the Serbian's talent to flourish this season. Scotsman Flynn joined very late in the 2024 season, securing a pair of points finishes in Azerbaijan and the USA. He also acquitted himself well on his FS1 debut at Singapore, where he dramatically stole a point on the final lap of the feature race. VMS Sun Edits Racing. After taking the wooden spoon in FS1 last season, Guy Sonnevelt's VMS Sun Edits team returns to FS2, looking to recapture the 23 form, which took them to 8th place in the championship. Justin van der Smissen stays with his local team for a third season, and is rejoined by his fellow countryman and 2024 teammate David de Vrij. Van der Smissen endured a difficult 2024 as VMS struggled to find their way on car setup. The sole bright spot was the 4 points he scored in a chaotic race in Saudi Arabia, the venue where he also scored his first FS2 podium in 2023. Given his immense talent still shined through in difficult circumstances, expect the Dutchman to return to form this season. De Vrij had a baptism of fire with VMS in FS1 last season, failing to score a single point. The sole positive was that he was very consistent, getting 21 finishes and a lot of mileage under his belt. Now he's making his FS2 debut, he'll be considering 25 to be a reset, where he hopes to build his confidence and unlock some more pace this time round. Blue Horns Racing. Race winners Jörn Dix and Florian Haase had a difficult season at Exelion last year. Now, the German duo are reunited at Dix's Austrian Blue Horns Racing outfit, and hoping that they can both rekindle their fortunes. A race winner for Red Ven in 2024 was a much more punishing season for Dix, with 8 retirements and just 3 points finishes, with 6 at Silverstone being the high point of the year. Now that he's in charge, Jörn should feel more at home this time around. Haase endured 2 difficult seasons in a row, with Optimal and Exelion in FS2, with last year's efforts yielding only 3 points finishes. With his first win in Bahrain in 2023 feeling an awfully long time ago now, Haase will hope to turn things around and take the bull by its blue horns in 2025. Mapes VO. This legendary Anglo-Dutch team, owned by Matthew Maple, won 3 Super League Constructors Championships in a row from 2002 to 2004, along with 2 drivers' titles for Mikko Jalkanen. After 19 years away, Maple is bringing his iconic team back onto the GPVWC ladder and has hired 2 relatively inexperienced newcomers in Michael Falkenhayn and Samui Slavov. German driver Falkenhayn stood out in 2024 for his amazing speed over a single lap, qualifying 4th and 7th for the final 2 races of the season. Over a race distance though, things tended to go wrong, and although he did score a handful of points in the reverse grid rounds of Baku, Kota and into Lagos for KB86 and Reading Game, he is nonetheless very highly rated by rivals. If he can hone his racecraft, then Falkenhayn could be the driver to return this legendary team to glory. Bulgarian Slavov showed a lot of promise and speed in the academy, winning the reverse grid race in Mexico. He's only driven in the season finale in FS2 last season as teammate to Falkenhayn, with a best finish of 21st, but he's yet to get the chance to truly deliver. Expect him to be a solid foil to Falkenhayn and break into the point scorers before too long. Orbit Motorsports. Slavov is shooting for the outer atmosphere by starting his own Orbit Motorsports team. Star signing Omari Watson is joined by rookie Shimon Kanda. Watson returns to FS2 after 3 seasons competing at the top in FS1 for HGP and Netrex GP. Last season he was 5th in the points for the 2nd time and scored 9 podiums and a brilliant win at Hockenheim, but a team's championship challenge slipped away with bad luck and a number of errors under pressure, such as spinning out of the final lap whilst leading the reverse grid race at Baku. His raw speed and tyre management definitely mark him out as one to watch, and the Brit remains one of the most popular drivers in GPV. Expect him to challenge for the championship. Polish driver Kanda had only a handful of substitute drives after some very strong performances in the academy, scoring points in only his 2nd race with Team RNG at Monza before finishing 2nd on the road for ST Racing at the United States before a track limits penalty took him out of the points. He ended the season 13th and 10th in Interlagos and could well build on that as a teammate to the experienced Watson. Potentia Grand Prix. For 2025, Academy race winner and FS2 point scorer Josh Dexter has decided to unleash his Potentia GP team upon an unsuspecting paddock this season. The hugely experienced Sandeep Singh leads the driver lineup, partnered by relative newcomer Domenico Scapelli. 2019 FS2 runner-up by just 10 points to Jonathan Holmes, India's Sandeep Singh returns to the lowest step on the GPV ladder after being the vice champion in Superlads last season to road to Formula teammate Alex Lahou. 3 fantastic victories at Suzuka, Silverstone, Spa meant he helped R2F to their second team's title in a row. With 6 more seasons under his belt in the second tier, can Singh go one better than his last FS2 campaign? Italian Scarpelli is the team owner of Apex GP and an academy veteran of 3 seasons, who finally gets a full season shot at FS2. Last year he scored 6 times in his 12 races as a super sub, and he'll be hoping to deliver on his potential with Potentia. Venus Motorsports. The final new entry on the 25 grid makes history, as Alice Stone's Amsterdam-based Venus Motorsports is the first all-female team to enter GPVWC. After 25 seasons, it's certainly overdue. On driving duties will be the 3 Cs: Charlotte Menink, Caitlin Penny, and reserve driver Caroline Harvick, all of whom have impressed in Academy. Dutch racer Menink impressed in Academy last year after switching from endurance racing, and was picked as a substitute driver at Hunter Birch, qualifying 9th on debut at Hockenheim before scoring her first 2 points in the chaotic wet races at Singapore. Now, she's earned a full-time seat at Venus, and expect her confidence to continue to grow. You may recognise Caitlin Penny as the voice of Super League commentary, but she's also been competing in FS2 on and off since 2020. Last season, she scored points on 3 of her 12 race appearances, and also scored her first top 10 finish in the category in Singapore, driving for Exelion. More than just a safe pair of hands, Penny's consistency had rightly earned her a huge amount of respect over the years. With just 4 retirements from 66 races, she's a driver that never gives up until she gets the checkered flag. Finally, GPVWC Academy. Rounding out the 15-team field is the Academy team, which allows the best drivers from Academy a chance to impress the FS2 field with a view to getting a full-time race seat. Expect the lineup to change race by race, as new drivers are introduced from the Academy series by Menno Klont, and he will bring those drivers through to Formula Sprint 2. That rounds out the grid for Formula Sprint 2. I've been Toby Davis, I will be joined by Alex Foulkes, and we look forward to you watching the Formula Sprint 2 season in 2025. Hello everybody, the winter has been long, dark and devoid of GPVWC action, but finally we are at Australia in the sunshine down under for the start of the 2025 season, and today is Formula Sprint 2 kicking off the campaign, and I'm pleased to say that I'm joined by Alex Foulkes.
Hello, hello.
How are you, my friend?
Winter.
Yeah, how was it?
Long winter. Honestly boring, you know?
Yeah.
Life without GPVWC is not worth living.
Well, thankfully we do have some action on track today, and we have had some pre-season tests, of course, although of course the results not representative of the pace that you may necessarily see at the front of the field, I should say. But yes, the pre-season tests have happened. Formula Sprint 2 did have one, and now of course we are into the race, and today we will have 2 15-lap races around Melbourne's iconic Albert Park racing track. Practice session is just finishing up, so we've timed this really well for us to go straight into the first competitive session of the season. Alex, obviously we've just watched the kind of preview for the season. We've done this 16 times last season. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I have no idea what to expect. I didn't look at preseason. Obviously, that's not representative anyway. So, yeah, I mean, most of the lineups, I have hardly seen most of them drive before, so who knows? Anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's essentially all I have to say.
It is a very transformative grid, Formula Sprint 2. You do get a lot of new names coming through, and the whole purpose of the career ladder that we have at GPVWC is that you start at Academy, develop into a driver, get a team to sign you for Formula Sprint 2, or indeed create your own, as some others have done. And this is the entry-level competitive series. with a full championship that you guys are watching. And this season, we have a few sort of things to discuss as we go, which we will get through as and when. But the first thing to say is that the cars look spectacular with all the new liveries and so on. And I'm very excited to be able to go through that with you and really kind of analyze each livery and look at that. And you can have a look at the spotter guide on our Instagram page. We've uploaded it there, so you can follow along with every team. If you just head over to our Insta page and click on that. You can also go to race-view.com for live timing, which myself and Alex will be using a lot to talk about who is on decent laps and so on. So yes, keep watching. But if you do have another device and you're able to connect to those two things, that will help you and us. That's what we're doing as well. To spot the drivers. We'll obviously get used to the cars and the names and the teams as we go along. Qualifying begins then. Green light on the end of the pit lane. And Alex, first car out on track that we can see is a Blue Horns car. I should remind everyone who is not familiar with GPVWC, this is a private session. So in effect, there are 30 different universes going on right now. Actually 32. Effectively, everyone is out on track at the same time, but they don't see each other's car, so you can't have any contact with another driver, and that makes it a bit more sort of fair, doesn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it makes it more manageable for a lot of drivers, and I think based on what we saw last season, is probably a good thing from some of the races we had. I won't say which, and I won't name any names, but there was some very good driving here and there. No sarcasm intended.
No.
One thing I do have to note, we've got 4 blue cars if you want to include GPVWC Academy. So it is very likely that you'll hear Blue Horns or Potentia be misnamed at least once throughout the broadcast because, well, they are literally the exact same shade of blue.
Yes, here indeed is. Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit more white on the Blue Horns, so that's nice to differentiate those two. I would say this man here, Sandeep Singh, has got to be one of the favourites for this championship. He's coming down 2 leagues from Super Lights, which he competed in last year, to compete in Formula Sprint 2, as is his want. And just like Jack Mayer a couple of seasons ago, kind of trying to do what Jack did, I suppose, and compete at this level and see what he can do.
Yeah, I think he's trying to find himself in GPVWC again. He didn't do bad last season in Super Lights. I say you can't really do bad when you're winning the championship as a team and as your teammate wins the Drivers' Championship. So for Sandeep Singh, I'd imagine this is a nice little year for him. Of course, being promoted to the head of disciplinary committee as well. So he's running all of that now. And yeah, we've seen some interesting changes there, but nothing more to talk about. I don't think, really. There's a few changes to the regulations, but they're not really important, I don't think, for FS2.
We did have, and I had a whole spiel written about it. We were going to change the track limits for this season to 2 wheels within the white lines, or in this circuit, yellow lines all around the track. But with some technical issues, we've decided sensibly to revert it back to last season's regulation. So it's 2 wheels within the white lines, unless there's a curb, in which case you can have 2 wheels on the curb. The curbs are defined as kind of blue or white. In this track, it would be green and yellow curbing, so the sort of serrated edge, but not including the track beyond. So, for example, right at this corner here, there is an exit where you can run 2 wheels on there, but not beyond the curb. So there it's not really possible, but there are a couple of instances, especially the fast, I guess it's turn 7 and 8 now. Chicane used to be called 9 and 10. The fast chicane on the back end of the straight, that you can use 2 wheels on the curb and gain some time accordingly. Sandeep Singh completes a lap. We didn't really comment on that too much. He's actually been surpassed by Casper Koritz and Junio Lopez for Cap Clay, Koritz for Reading Game. So Lopez currently sitting in pole position and will hope to maintain that through the session.
Yeah, Cap Clay, one of the only teams you recognize from last year. Of course, you got Cap Clay, SC Racing, Scuderia Freccianera, Hot Performance, but Oh, I can't forget Exelion as well. But most of these teams are relatively new. I'm getting Priority 1 as well, and Hunter Birch. There's a couple new teams, is my point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
And some of them are very different. Priority 1, very different livery this year, an older Williams this time around, and we've got green instead of blue for them. They're going to blend in nicely to the track barriers here, which are very, very green, so maybe they won't blend in, who knows. They'll blend into the AstroTurf here, I think. Oh, that's blue, I guess. That's a shame. I was trying to find something they blend into, but I guess they blend into nothing.
We should talk about the major thing that you can visually see compared to last season, which is there is a new car, and it effectively is a brand new chassis, new visuals for it, a whole new model. Big thank you to Chris Williamson for all his hard work that he's done on that, and it looks spectacular out on track. So thank you guys for your hard work on that, and all the liveries look great on it. To be honest, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, the new liveries this season are much better than what we had last time around, I would say. No offense to anyone that designed them, but they're just much better. As Hot Performance Racing, they've changed color scheme as well to bright orange, going after the orange livery that they ran at the end of last season. In the Brazilian Grand Prix, they ran a tribute livery to, I want to say it was an Arrows, I hope.
Yeah, this looks very Arrowsy, doesn't it? This particular livery, yeah. So I would think they probably continued that. Bobby Vakuinov and is continuing. He's joined by Lepit for Hut Performance Racing, but yeah, it's a very, very much a sort of nod towards that sort of early 2000 Arrows. This particular livery looks really cool, actually, especially with the new sort of side pod shape we have. The swooping lines as they come down is cool. Singh has gone P2, by the way, usurped Kasper Koritz, and someone we haven't mentioned, Amari Watson. He is one to watch as well, coming from being very competitive in series further up. Here is Amari on screen right now for Orbit Motorsports. He a very lovely guy in real life, on track as well, very respectful, and I'm hoping he comes in for an interview later because he's always got something good to say. So yeah, a big fan of Amari and his work. Let's see if he can be competitive this season. He's currently sitting P4, and I would expect him to be in and amongst the front runners as we go along the season.
Yeah, I'd say the same goes for Michael Falkenhayn here as well, in P5. Came in at the end of last season, relatively late with KV86, then moved across to, was it Reading Game? Really testing my memory. I don't think it was.
Yeah, Falkenhayn was definitely at Reading Game at one point, for sure.
He was, yes. But he moved somewhere and was in for the last part of the season and put in some very strong performances while he was there. So yeah, he's one to look out for. I mean, realistically, anyone on the grid, I'd say up to P15, someone to look out for. Kurt Rochard had some strong performances last year. James Knox, great defensive driving. Ben Skinner had a couple of podiums throughout the season. I think he won a race in, I want to say China, but that's probably completely wrong.
Yeah, we'll have to refresh our memory as we go along. Yes. There's no drama. But we just saw Kaylin Penny. We mentioned it before in the pre-season sort of preview, that it's an all-female team at Venus Motorsports. And yes, I'm very excited about that prospect. Here's a very obvious nod to a Marussia livery for VMS Sun Edits and David DeFree driving around the final sector now. He's currently 13th place. I'm not exactly sure where his teammate is right now, but yeah, David DeFree coming through. He's currently 3/10 down on this lap, so does not improve his position. And with 6 minutes left of the session, you can see the top sort of 5 have a little bit of a gap as Koritz improves to P2 as we speak. Here's Josh Flynn, who's purple in the middle sector for Freccianera and coming through the final couple of corners now. And that is a beautiful livery as well. really cool effects going on in the sort of background of that car as he comes through the final corner. Can he get himself into the top 5? It looks like he might be able to. Let's see as he crosses the line. Oh, it's P10, lost to 5/10 in the final sector then.
Yeah, definitely not ideal for Josh Flynn. But like you say, yeah, a huge upgrade for Scuderia Friccionera on their livery this year. Much more detailed, much more interesting, I have to say. So yeah, that's exciting to see. BMS Sun Edits, of course, coming back down to FS2 after going to FS1 for a year last time around. Junior Lopez, purple in the first sector, 33.999, breaking the 34-second barrier. And that looks nice and tiny. A little touch on the grass out of turn 8, and he's purple in the second sector as well. This is looking like a mighty strong lap now for Junior Lopez. Only has to do the final 3 corners. There's one of them navigated. Just one more flat out and a hairpin, and then another flat out for him here. Let's see. Will he improve his lead in pole position here?
Well, I think the lap has been very tidy. He took all of the right up to the limit through the track limits through 7 and 8. He comes across the line now, does improve his time, does improve that gap, but then immediately the lap is disallowed. So he must have had a small cut somewhere. So yeah, that didn't actually register for him. So here's Rotiar for Exelion Motorsport. Lovely looking livery again. Crosses the line now, goes P6. Does Kurt. So yes, our academy commentator straight into P6. That's a cracking effort from him. Someone I was looking out for was Justin van der Smissen as well. He had pace at various points last season. I don't know if he set a lap yet. That oh, he has. He's set a 35 point. No, he hasn't. He hasn't set a lap time yet. Oh no, he has. Ah, good. It's begun already. But Van der Smissen out on track. He's 1.6 down. I think he had pace last season at various different points and certainly was very, very competitive. So I was expecting to see him right up there in the top 10. Obviously hasn't put a good lap together yet.
Yeah, only a 36.9 for Van der Smissen when Junior Lopez running a 35.2. That's 1.7 seconds. Justin van der Smissen is behind. P26 for him, but there's obviously time for improvement. 2 more laps, realistically, these drivers are going to get if they return to the pit lane. Many are Domenico Scarpelli in P10, for instance, and Tuamala behind him. Both in the pit lane, refreshing their cars and getting a new set of tyres, a bit more fuel, and going out to set their final laps. Like you say, Amaro Watson looking very strong in P3, Sandeep Singh as well, P4. So, yeah, a lot of the drivers who we said to watch are just right up there. And, James Knox got up to P8 in the meantime. Josh Flynn got up to P6 while we weren't paying attention as well.
Yeah, Flynn set a good lap time there and put himself right in amongst it. I should say, I'm so stuck in 2024. I was talking about last season. 2023. Is when Van der Smissen was in Formula Sprint 2, of course. We're now 2025, so it's 2 seasons ago. So that's something I need to update in my head. But yeah, he was very competitive in 23, is what I was saying, in Formula Sprint 2. We haven't mentioned him, but he is in the Academy car for this round. I did mention that Chavinsky was supposed to be, but he's deputising at Blue Horns for this round. So Kanaya has moved into that Academy slot, and he also is joined, or supposedly joined, by Tuzzoli. Mauro Tuzzoli in the other Academy car. I can't see Tuzzoli. Oh, he's 15th is Tuzzoli. So yes, they're both coming in and doing the best they can in that Academy car. And in fact, Kanaya has set a purple middle sector. So this could move him right up towards the front of the field. If he's had a good final sector, let's see what happens as he comes across the line now and goes P13. So that's a great effort from Andrea, and well done to him. Who else is on a lap as we get towards the back end of the qualifying session? We've got Slavev in 17th place. He's done 2 personal best sectors as he comes through the fast chicane. I don't know if he was too wide there. We cut right as he was coming back from the grass. He may have gone too wide on track limits. Let's see what happens in the final sector.
Yeah, I think he was quite far out based on how he was coming back onto the track. but that Renault-style livery through the final 2 corners now. Let's see if it will be an improvement for Slovev. He was 0.4 down on the best sector times, but heading towards the line now, has to improve from P17. And the lap was invalidated.
Yeah, lap was invalidated. Yep. As we thought, Ockenhaug has also done a personal best middle sector on his lap and kind of got quite close to his best first sector. He is in P9. And let's see whether Ockenhaug in the final sector can improve his lap time. Another nod to a real-life F1 livery. That's very much an early 2010s Caterham-style livery, or Lotus, depending on how you feel. I won't get into the politics of that one. Very wide through the penultimate corner, though, Ockenhaug. So will have lost a couple of tenths through there. Can he improve his time? I don't know if he will. That didn't look the best final sector as he crosses the line now. Yeah, no, not good enough to improve his time. So he goes again. He has enough of time for one more. Well, I mean, he had enough time for one more go.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, unfortunately.
More.
Lopez still going at it.
Yeah, purple in the middle sector once more. That's a bigger improvement than what we've seen so far. It was 23.006 last time around, and I think he hasn't improved.
Yeah, very much
close to it.
Matched his lap time, though, 7,000 slower or 6,000 slower. Falkenhayn's gone green through the middle. Falkenhayn no longer is going to improve that lap time. Mikhail Tuamala has done a 34.2 in the first sector. De Vries, did he cross the line in time? I'm not too sure. Doesn't look like he's pushing as hard as he potentially could. But yeah, Tuamala is on a lap. Vakuanov purple in the middle sector. Perhaps it wasn't the best middle sector from Lopez, which indicates to me that maybe he's running a little bit more downforce, actually, because that middle sector is all about that back straight. It's not really very straight. It's a very curved straight. But yeah, we've got Vakuanov coming through the final corner now. And I'm keeping an eye on Tuamala. Has also done 2 personal best sectors. Here's Vakuanov as he crosses the line now. Does he improve? He improves 1 position to 22nd, so a poor final sector by his standards. Manamana Kandan coming across the line now. Can he improve his position from 27th? For ST, he can. Goes up to 20th. And Tuamala is coming through now. The final couple of corners. Can he improve his position? Crossing the line now. And he does move up to 7th place. Usurps Joe Gillette, who we haven't mentioned, for Hunter Birch, but he was similarly up in 8th place as we got there. I don't think anyone else can improve, so the grid is set, Mr. Foulkes, and I'll let you. Do you want me to do the first reading of the names?
Yes, I'm already struggling with saying words, so go ahead.
Junior Lopez for Cap Clay takes the first pole position of 2025 in Formula Sprint 2 and GPVWC. Kasper Koretz alongside him on the front row for RGS reading game. Orbit Motorsports, Amari Watson is P3 with Sandeep Singh for Potentia in P4. Falkenhayn, we saw him improving but couldn't move up after hitting the wall in P5. Josh Flynn, a good effort from him in P6 for Freccianera. Mikhail Tuamala for Cap Clay in 7th place with Joe Gillette, Exelion Motorsports, Rotiav and James Knox rounding at the top 10. P11 was Magnus Ockenhaug for Hunter Birch with Scapelli for Potentia. Craig Patterson for Priority 1. He'll be disappointed with that, actually. He was one of my dark horses for the start of the season. Team RNG's Ben Skinner in 14th. Blue Horns Chavinsky in 15th. And then we have Kanaya for the Academy team. Tice Youngstra for RNG. Tetsoli also for the Academy team. Slavev and Yunus Karala for Priority 1 rounding out the top 20. 2 more pages to go. Manamana Kandan for ST in 21st with Simon Kanda, David De Vries, Bobby Vakuanov, Justin van der Smissen, Charlotte Menink, Johannes Lepit, Caitlin Penny, Mihailo Vicentievich in 29th, and Florian Haza in 30th place. And the final 2 on the grid will be Brody Lawless for RGS and Damir Karatko, Scuderia Freccianera. I did it so well to the last one.
At least you made it to the last one without making a mistake.
Yeah, well, there we go. You know, you win some, you lose some, don't you, in life? So, go on. No,
it would have been worse if you tried to pronounce the the Mapes VO. I'm saying it. The Mapsvo, Mapesvo,
Mapesvo. I don't know.
Mapesvo.
I'm going to have to ask and find out. I've been deliberately avoiding it. Should have found out really before the start of the season, but there we go. So moving into warm up, and this season we're going to try and structure it a little bit more than we did last season, which was kind of a free for all.
That's a lie for FS2. There's no such thing as structure.
I mean, it should be a structure to it. So I've put in our little discussion, this can be anything you like. Talking about qualifying predictions for the race as well as the season ahead as a whole. Now, personally, I would like to just very briefly do a quick prediction for who we think will take the title at the end of the season. And I want you to do that because I want to come back to this point and see how wrong we were. So I have a name in mind. I want you to go first, Mr. Alex.
Ooh. I'm gonna put my finger on my race view screen and just point randomly, and I think that'll give me my answer.
Okay, go on.
I'm gonna say Casper Kuretz with Reading Game Studios Racing. I think.
Okay.
Casper, probably the most experienced with FS2, but you never know. What could happen.
I mean, Casper was very competitive back end of last season for sure. Whether he has quite the like the experience to fully go for it, I'm not too sure. He has done one full season now in Formula Sprint 2 and best result of P3, which I think he had at 3 different occasions. So yeah, he had 3 third place finishes. He also did a one-off outing at Alpha Sierra in Super Lights and finished P17. I think I personally would go with Sandeep Singh as
well, that was the safe option.
Well, yeah, of course it's the safe option because the one I think he I think he will do it. But of course, I'm happy to be proven wrong. It's one of those things where we just don't know. We're just poking in the dark at this point, aren't we? So, but yeah, I think Sandeep Singh will do it. If you want a dark horse type answer, which I'm happy to provide, Junior Lopez has smashed it today so far. He was fastest in practice and obviously put it on pole by a couple of tenths as well. So yes, that's my dark horse. I'll go with Lopez as the dark horse.
Okay. So Sandeep Singh is the safe answer for both of us, I would say.
Yeah.
But the fun answers, as I'm going to call them.
Yeah.
For myself, Casper Kuretz, for you is Junior Lopez. We'll see. We should write it down somewhere, and we'll come back to it before the mid-season break, and then we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, for suresies. Brody Lawless has a back of the grid demotion, which is why he didn't set a very competitive lap time in qualifying. That was for a carryover from last season. Obviously done it at the last round or last couple of rounds, so still needs to serve that penalty. I haven't mentioned, but we're joined today by Fabian Jungbluth, and Fabian is on camera duty for us today. Fabian is with us for Formula Sprint 2 and for Super Lights this season. I'm very grateful to him. And we also have a new head of media. It's actually two people involved, myself and Remco Dezeo, and we're hoping to bring some sort of nice updates throughout the season, doing things slightly differently, trying to improve things where we can. And the first thing we've done is put some articles up on the GPVWC website. So if you are new to GPVWC, head to the website. Everything that you need to know is there. We also have a Discord, which is where all the fun happens. But the articles on the website, if you have time, give them a little read and familiarise yourself with the pre-season testing results, which is the latest articles on there. Other than that, you can join us on social media through Instagram, particularly, and we will be posting regular updates on there about race results and broadcast timings and all the rest of it. So if you have a phone and you are one of those people that has Instagram downloaded, do go on there, search for GPVWC and give us a follow. and that would be fantastic.
What do you mean, one of those people?
Well, not everyone has Instagram downloaded, do they?
No, but you make it sound like it's a negative thing to have it.
No, it's well.
installed on your phone.
So I'm terribly sorry. If you're a normal person and have Instagram downloaded, go onto there and search for GPVWC and give us a follow. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Oh, perfect. That's what I want to hear. We'll tidy that up for the VOD. Right, let's have a little look at the schedule, the calendar for the full season. So we're obviously at Melbourne right now. That is today. We have got the Turkish Grand Prix from Turkey on the 18th of March in 2 weeks' time. And there's pretty much 2 weeks between every race in Formula Sprint 2, with a couple of exceptions. We do have a 4-week break between the USA Grand Prix and the Canadian Grand Prix. And the same between the Hungarian Grand Prix and the Italian Grand Prix. That's the summer break. So we have like a spring break and a summer break to complete the season. Only 16 rounds compared to the F1 season, which is about 83. We are deliberately not stretching ourselves too much. 16 is a nice number. It's nicely divisible. Looks good on a calendar. So we're sticking with 16. There are four series that race at all of these events. Formula Sprint 2, Formula Sprint 1, Super Lights and Super League. Super League is the Premier Series, and that is next Thursday. So it's Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday. Next Thursday is the first round of the Super League event, which is our main championship, the Premier League, if you like. And yeah, that is next Thursday. In between that, we do have the Academy Series on every other Monday, which you guys, if you're watching this for the first time or tuning in and fancy having a go, that is where you can just sign up freely and just have a go and race and hope that you get picked up by a Formula Sprint 2 team. And if not, Menno Klontz GPVWC Academy team is a perfect way to get into the actual career ladder. Right, the race is shortly going to begin. It's a 15-lap race, and there is thankfully no weather to talk about. There's no pit stops. It's a full sprint race, and it's full attack mode as well, isn't it, Alex? And we know from our experience last season that usually results in incidents, especially whilst everyone is shaking off the winter rust.
Well, according to certain people, I won't say who, the incidents are a key characteristic of Formula Sprint 2. So you never know. I think some of the most memorable moments from last season were incidents. Notably, Suzuka was a major one, and we had a pile-up at some point. Just a terrible pile-up multiple times, I'm sure. But in Baku, where we almost completely blocked... I'm just perplexed at what I just witnessed. Just... I forgot.
Keep going. You know you can do it. You can do it.
No,
Baku.
Baku, yes, Baku. There was a pile-up. Lap 1 of race 2. Yeah, race 2 it was, I think. Maybe. I'm going to have to go back and watch every single race before next time. And then we'll know everything again.
You can do what I've done and go to the GPVWC website, go to Services, Results and Statistics. And there's a library of every single season.
Show the crashes and the incidents and the...
They don't, but they do give an idea as to who won where. Who won where?
Yes. Who won where? Not who won when or where.
When?
Where? Who?
Yeah, and there's also a statistics page there as well, which is handy, which tells you how many races they did, how many wins there were. So last season's champion, Matusz Majka, he's won 12 wins in his career in GPVWC.
He has won 12 wins, has he?
He's won, you know what I mean. So, which is it's a nice repository for all of the GPVWC events that have ever happened. There's also a driver's rating page. If you go to Services, you can see where all of the drivers stand in a nice ELO ranking system. which is one of my favourite pages to look at. And you can see where you stand. I am quite a long way down the list. We've had a lot of drivers in the years gone through. In fact, we've had 1,000. This is going to blow your mind. We've had 1,119 individual drivers, and my rank is 783rd.
I'd imagine that's higher than mine.
Oh, let's have a look. Nope, you're ahead of me. 707th.
Oh.
So congratulations for that.
Yep. My 5-6 races.
Sorry, how have you done that? Let's have a look. Okay, so what results did you get to outrank me? I mean, I competed in Super League in 2014 with the best result of 4th at Canada, and then Formula Sprint 2 in 2022, where I won a race and then had. To be fair, I did have 4 more DNFs for the rest of the season, so not ideal. What did you do? Oh, you did that. You did. No, wait.
I did FS1, but I did not finish a single race.
How have you outranked me?
I have no idea.
You did FS2 as well in 2023, and you finished 24th, 14th. So you basically finished more races. ELO rankings do work that way. If you don't finish, it's obviously terrible for your ranking. So that might be the reason. But congratulations on your 9th place at Monza.
Thank you. It was very hard fought for, and definitely not the result of any exterior circumstances. Nope, none whatsoever.
I love that for you. Right, warm-up is over. Some of you will be pleased about that, I'm sure. And we'll get cracking with the first race of the season. And Alex has drawn the short straw to go through the grid when it appears, so we'll see how many names he can get correct. If anyone's got a bingo card.
We should have a bingo card.
What would be on it, though? Sensible
mispronunciation of a name?
Yes, well, yes.
Like Matrika Pagnason from last year.
Oh, yes. Doesn't appear this season, which is sad.
Yeah. We're going to have to find someone else.
We'll write a sensible bingo card. Who's going to win this race, then? People in the chat, give us your best guess.
Poll. We should get a poll up. That'd be great.
We should. I don't know how to do that. I'm not logged in as an admin, so...
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I can't, actually.
Right. We're still missing a couple of people on the grid, actually. They're populating now. And the formation lap will be underway. We'll do one circulation of Albert Park and then reform on the grid, ready for the race start. So don't panic, the race isn't about to begin. Here you go, Alex. All yours, my friend.
Oh, I have looked forward to reading out the grid for race 1 of the Australian Grand Prix race thing. Julio Lopez takes pole position for Scuderia Caplo with Casper Kuretz behind him in 2nd. Amari Watson lines up for 3rd with Sandeep Singh in 4th. Michael Falkenhayn 5th, Josh Flynn 6th, and Michael Tuamala and Joe Gillette lining up 7th and 8th respectively. In 9th is Kurt Rochard, joined on the same row by his teammate James Knox. Magnus Ockenhaug lines up 11th, and the 2nd Potentia in 12th with Domenico Scarpelli. 13th, Craig Patterson with Ben Skinner behind him, and 15th is Philip Savinsky with Andrea Shinaglia for GPVWC Academy in P16. 17th is Thijs Youngstra for Team RNG with Mauro Tizzoli in P18. Samuel Slavev 19th, and Yunus Kerala P20. 21st is Mano Manikandan, and Simon Kanda lines up behind him in 22nd. David De Vries is 23rd, Bobby Vakanov in 24th. 25th is Justin van der Smissen with the first Venus Motorsports car of Charlotte Menink behind him in 26th. Hans Lepit lines up 27th and Caitlin Penny in 28th. Mihaela Vicentjevic 29th with Florian Haase lining up 30th, and Dimir Karatko and Bradley Lawless didn't set a time in qualifying, with Karatko lining up 31st and Lawless with his back of the grid penalty lining up in 32nd. And I don't think I got a single name wrong, but I said a number.
Very good, very good. Well done, my friend. Right, the season is about to begin for realsies as we come through the final corner and line up on the grid at the end of the formation lap. We will have Junior Lopez on the right of your screen and Kasper Koritz on the left for reading game. Let's see who can get down to turn 1 first, as I think that will be pretty key this season. We do think Lopez has slightly more downforce potentially than some others around him. Sandeep Singh, very low downforce in his car. Chavinsky also very low downforce in his. So yeah, keep an eye out, especially on Sandeep Singh, as to whether his car is a little bit more raceable as they get towards turn 1, and especially after turn 6. Right, the grid is lined up. The red lights are coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. GPVWC is go, and Lopez gets a good getaway and covers his arch rival for this race, Koritz, off. But Koritz nicks a bit of slipstream, goes down the inside, almost 3 wide into turn 1, but Lopez holds on. Amari Watson slots in behind Koritz in P3, and Sandeep Singh gets through in P4. Already there's a yellow flag further back as Lopez is being challenged by Koritz down into turn 3 hairpin, but survives. Singh up to P3, and there's chaos further back. And we knew this was going to happen at some point today, and there's a lot of missing wheels. Something has happened at the turn 3 hairpin, and there's quite a few cars involved, to be honest. Tice Youngster's involved, Menink's involved, who else is involved there? There's a couple of other cars, an Exelion Motorsports that was around, and not ideal for the first race of the season there, but further forwards, in fact that's Craig Patterson, who clearly was involved in something there as well. Not ideal, but further up the front then, so it's the front 3 actually have broken away from Amari Watson, and just a little bit, although Amari Watson's had a good chicane and catches back up, but yeah, plenty going on the first lap.
Yeah, that's a welcome to FS2 moment as Falkenheim gets past James Knox, who's got up to 6th in the midst of all the chaos. Kurt Rochov actually has dropped down to P26, so I suspect he was one of the first cars involved. And we've got one more yellow, although I'm imagining that will quickly clear. Already out of the race, we've got Simon Kanda, Caitlin Penny, Philip Savinsky, and I think Mihaela Vicentjevic is still in it.
Yes.
There's time yet.
Yeah, so there's, yeah, you're absolutely right. Chavinsky, Penny and Kanda out. And of course we saw some damage as well for others as Karala coming down the inside. Oh, didn't make it work on Van der Smissen, and in fact he's now going to be under pressure from De Free for VMS. Further towards the front then, so Lopez and Koritz very, very closely matched on that first lap, but Lopez getting away well at the start, and that was key for his race, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially I think getting out of the way of the incidents as well was very strong for the top 4, as they've got a nice little cushion, I'd say, to Michael Falkenheim as Amari Watson's catching up to Sandeep Singh further ahead in that Orbit Motorsports car, chasing down the blue Potentia Grand Prix car. But I imagine with that low downforce setup that Singh's got in his car, he won't be catching too quickly. And Kuritz is slowly catching up to Lopez at the front as Kuritz sets the fastest Sector 2 time, but is quickly stolen away by Eunice Kerala, probably thanks to the slipstream. Here goes Joe Gillette, tries to go down the inside of Domenico Scarpelli. It just can't work though. And here's the 2 Hunter Birch cars, and they'll be racing, I'd imagine, pretty closely very soon. But they're also under pressure by Ben Skinner from behind for P10, P11, P9. So yeah, we've got a big fight on our hands as Ben Skinner very close to the back of Magnus Ockenhaug as we head onto the main straight. In that slipstream, Ockenhaug pulls out to the right and forces Skinner to try around the outside, but Ockenhaug with the better braking, able to stay ahead for one more lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw this last season. Gillette and Skinner were very closely matched most of the time, which provided us ample opportunity for a pun or two. But right now, Gillette has got Ockenhaug behind him, his teammate, and Hunter Birch have got a nice solid lineup this season, actually, with Ockenhaug joining. I think they will do well and score lots of points this season. Let's see if they can develop that into something a little more towards the sharp end. The RNG team with a very, very nice livery. And yeah, that's something to look out for. The details on that are really, really cool. So when we get a chance, we'll look at that. It's a sort of almost like a poker livery, as he's now actually being overtaken by Kinaya, who also had a very high top speed and shows it there. So the academy team, in fact, as well, Tzoli was taking Slavev in the background as well. So yeah, showing that having the straight line speed does make a big difference at the end of that straight, and the academy cars moving up respectively.
Yeah, Kurtz set the fastest lap last time around, and we've come to him again. He didn't set a second sector time, so I'd imagine he's gone off track at some point, and that would probably explain the half a second between him and Lopez at the front here. But they are pulling away from Sandeep Singh and Amari Watson in the background there, and there's a nice cushion now of 1.2 seconds for Kurtz to start attacking Lopez here and just building up his pace and breaking down that gap at the front. And I think we've got a couple more DNFs as Mikhail Tuamala has either retired to the pit lane or has not continued the race after the start. So yeah, that's 4 retirements off that turn 3 incident, and it would be quite interesting to see what happened there.
Yeah, I'd love to see a replay of that. Actually, it would be cool. I don't know if Fabian has got the ability to show us that. Obviously, we're shaking the race down first as we go, but yeah, quite a few cars caught up in that. I think Florian Hazer, Brody Lawless as well was a long way back. Thijs Youngstra and Vicente, which they all seem to have either pitted or be caught up in that incident. So not ideal for those guys. Brody Lawless has just set purple final sector. In fact, pretty much the fastest lap of the race, actually, I think. So yeah, Lawless clearly has the pace, but obviously starting from the back of the field and potentially being caught up in that turn 3 instance not helped his race whatsoever. Here is the replay, Alex. Let's have a look, see what happened here then.
Yeah, so this is Mikhail Tuamala, the last retiree of them all. I imagine he's gone into Kasper Kurtz there, and that's just an interesting incident. And oh wow,
the car piling in the background is interesting for me. I'll have a look at that again. But so Chavinsky is blind. I think Tamala's locked up or something. So he's trying to get through there, Chavinsky. But further back, a car's come piling in. From quite a long way back. You'd assume they should be able to see that. Let's see who it was. But Florian Hazer was involved as well. Let's have a look, see what's going on here then. So from Hazer's point of view, he's been hit from behind. Well, the track's completely blocked, to be fair.
Yeah, it's just chaos.
It's just chaos. But there was a white car, I don't know which one it was, that just sort of came storming in. So Tzoli was fine. He carried on. He's up in like piece 15 or something right now, and he survived. Got through
there barely.
Yeah, barely. I don't know. I can't tell from there. But that's not ideal. But clearly triggered by Tuamala making contact with the Exelion of. Now I'm going to say it was Rotiav, wasn't it? Therefore, so yes. Yeah. So Tuamala is locked up and gone into Rotiav, and that was the cause. Whether specifically,
game crash, apparently.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, that's a big shame for Tuamala, because his teammate is in P1 right now. So clearly the Cap Clays had a good setup going, but yeah. So Koritz has dropped back over a second from Lopez now. And yeah, very interesting. that Lopez has kept his pace, if you like, as they go through the race.
Yeah, as Lawless sets the fastest lap of the race. I think that happened while we were watching the replays. A 35.755 for him, beating out Lopez only, I'd say. Oh no, Kasper Kuritz, 35.801. So yeah, it's strong pace, but down in 26th, there's not much you can do, especially with the back of the grid penalty for him. But the fight now really lies here, all the way from P6, P7. Someone's off in the background into the gravel. I think that was Ben Skinner, who's getting overtaken. No, it was Emil Slavev, who's being passed by Justin van der Smissen here. And that's the first overtake we've seen from a VMS car, as Tizzoli is fighting Ben Skinner, who's also fallen back a good bit here. And yeah, Slavev unable to recuperate that position from van der Smissen. Smissen up to 12th, Slavev down to 13th, and Tizzoli up to P14, with the other Academy car looking very strong in P11 as well.
Yeah, Sandeep Singh's caught back up a bit to Kuritz. I wonder if Singh was sort of... I mean, it's a long race comparatively, Melbourne. It's obviously 15 laps, but we're only just halfway now. Singh might well have been sort of coaxing his tyres and sort of trying to attack later in the race, which is certainly an option, a way to do it, if you like. It's very Prost-like, that livery, isn't it? It sort of reminds me of the early, late 90s, early 2000s Prost's car, that Potentia vehicle. But yeah, certainly Singh, I think he is sort of looking after his tyres, taking this race slowly and trying to build himself into it a little bit. Certainly, you don't win the championship at the first round, so if you can slowly, gather points throughout the season, podiums will do that, and will put you right in the championship hunt. Singh knows that more than anyone else. A very experienced campaigner at GPVWC, but Kuritz has dropped back off from Lopez, as you say, and that Cap Clay looking very good right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sandeep Singh has just been consistently building up the pace throughout the race. He's gone from a 36.5 on lap 2, and it's just slowly decreased to a 36.1 last time around. And the results are really showing, as here's Ben Skinner trying for the outside on, I think that was Tizzoli, or who was it? It was Jonas Kerala, I think, who's dropping down the order. And I think there was contact there, and that's unfortunate for Kerala. Ben Skinner moves up to P14. But
here we go.
For a replay.
It was sort of almost 3 wide, thinking about almost 3 wide. I think he went down the inside of Skinner as they were side by side, and Skinner, I don't know if he's chopped across his nose.
It looks like it,
yeah. Very similar to something we saw in 2021, actually, between Owen McGorgy and Luke Maguire in Super Cup, as it was known then, from Sprint 1. And if I remember correctly, it was penalised at the time. So, yeah, something to think about after the race. But that has certainly cost a lot of positions for Yunus, and he is now out of the points and 24th-ish. So yeah, not ideal for him.
Yeah, and those kind of incidents are the ones that we're going to see probably quite a bit in these first few races, the first couple, as people build off that winter rust, as Rochav getting shown the door and the curb by Damir Karatko, and inevitably loses their position to Charlotte Menning here, and maybe, just maybe, Kurt Rochav's trying to get in on some of that action as well. Charlotte Menning up from, I think, 26th to P22. We've got a yellow in sector 3, just another, that's all we wanted in this race, and it's Josh Flynn who's gone off at turn 9. So
I think he's had a rotate. I think he's I think he probably exited that backwards, but let's see what happened. Josh Flynn coming through the chicane.
Oh.
Yep, big old rotate, and he did indeed exit it backwards. Thought that might be the case. So Flynn dropping down the field a little bit, unfortunately for him. He's now in 13th place, and that's what happens, unfortunately, in Formula Sprint 2. The gaps stay tight and you drop a couple of positions. So so there we go. Here's van der Smissen then on the back of Slavev. And Van der Smissen quietly has made progress. I did say this before in qualifying. I thought he would be a top 10 challenger, and certainly Van der Smissen looks like he might be able to do that, even in race 1 from his grid position, given the relative carnage we've had. It's not been too bad. Apart from that first lap incident, it's not been quite as bad as we've previously seen last season. But we have to remember this is the entry-level competitive series, Alex, and these guys, some of them, are both young or inexperienced, so plenty to learn, as Flynn is now pushing too hard to make up the time he's lost.
And that's a penalty. A track limits penalty.
Oh,
lap 9
Josh.
Flynn. Oh dear.
He's made it worse. Yeah, gone from bad to worse, and that will now be a drive-through penalty for him. And De Vries is missing a front wing then. So the VMS car has made contact, I assume, at the exit of turn 6, probably. And there is a lot of damage on that car. And he will have to pit and put a new front wing on. See what happened here. Was it in the turn 6 dip? I'm not sure. We're watching Charlotte Mennick right now, so something happened with Mennick as well. And that looked okay to me from Mennick. It's De Vries that we need to look at, and somehow, okay, there's De Vries, and he's already missing his wing. I wonder if he did that in turn 6, most likely. But whilst Fabian tries to find that particular, oh, here we go. So here is David De Vries, and this is turn 6, and I expect he just lost it. Oh no! Oh, hello!
Oh dear!
Who and why? That's one of the HBE cars, so that's Vakuinov, but randomly very slow.
Oh, that explains it.
Okay, so he's come off the.
Why is he slowed for the?
He's slowed for the off track. Can't do that. I don't think we can, and that's ended his race. He must have been right on the edge. He must have been right on the edge for track limit penalties, I assume, and therefore trying to prevent himself getting any further penalties. But yeah, he's caused an accident there. Anyway, with sorry, go on. What were you going to say?
I was about to say, Kurt Rochov briefly disconnected and had a moment in Sector 1. He's got a slow Sector 1 along with Josh Flynn. So that was just something I wanted to bring up.
Fair. Yeah, Rochov, unfortunately for him, out of the points. His teammate up in P6. We've not mentioned James Knox very much, but doing a good job in P6, and actually not too far behind Falkenhayn either. They are 5 or 6 seconds back off of Watson, who's driving. You must be wondering where all the cars have gone. Yeah, Knox is doing a good job up there in 6th place for Exelion. And Singh is very, very close to Kasper Koritz as well. Not sure exactly how close he is right now. The live splits seem to not quite be working for us on the tower. Hopefully we can fix that for race 2. But yeah, it's look, the top 3 are actually almost within a second. So Lopez maybe went too hard too soon, as we can see all 3 of them in the same camera shot now. Sandeep Singh in there with Koritz, and lap time wise, actually, the last lap it was Singh who was fastest of those top 3. Then Koritz, and then Lopez was almost 0.3 slower than Sandeep. So, and this lap as well, Sandeep is closing in. So yeah, this could go right to the wire, and we'll see what happens as we get to the final 4 laps. Actually, will be after this.
Yeah, Singh has just consistently been faster these last couple of laps, and for Kasper Koritz, he's already on 2 off tracks. I don't know the severity of them, but I know they were quite far off. So Koritz has to manage both the off tracks and trying not to get another, and also has to deal with trying to push enough to catch up to Lopez and trying to deal with Singh behind. I'm not trusting these gaps at all, because how does a gap increase on a straight? That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we haven't got the live splits. It's sort of doing it by sector at the moment. And then sometimes working. We'll have to work on that, see if we can fix it. But right now, you can see it with your own eyes. You don't need numbers on the left-hand side of the screen to show you that Singh, he may be settling for 3rd. He may be trying to look for an opportunity to push for at least 2nd place in this. But He knows the season is long. It's a 32 race season, effectively 16 rounds, so plenty of time for these drivers to pick up and lose points. And yeah, it's going to be a long old season.
Yeah, and for Tyce Youngstrand, 25th, the race gets bad to worse as he's got a drive-through penalty for presumably track limits. Although Kurtz, I just want to bring up, he's managed to stay quite far ahead of Sandeep Singh here, despite having that low downforce setup. Like you were saying, or Singh having that low downforce setup that allows him to have a faster straight line speed. It seems like Kurtz is just able to stay far enough ahead in the corners as he goes onto the gravel. And here's an opening for Singh to make up some very, very important ground. Although I don't think it was quite drastic enough to make a difference as we head onto the straight for Sandeep Singh. And yeah, the gap between him and Junio Lopez, it's about the same as it was 2 laps ago, and we've only got 2 more to go here.
Yeah, we do. I'm looking at the data from qualifying to get my sort of readings on who's on lower downforce than others, and yeah, Singh has a 4.5 kilometer advantage, kilometer an hour advantage over Kurtz and Lopez, but clearly not able to quite stay close enough through that very fast flick in turn 6. Which if you hop on board with Singh right now, you can see as you go into this turn 6 corner, it's almost like a banked, cambered corner. You have to flick it in and then maximize the exit. 2 wheels on the curve is allowed. And now Singh, has he got an exit to slipstream up to the back of Kurtz? Because there's no DRS in Formula Sprint 2, something that we perhaps haven't mentioned to this point, but you can see the visibly how much he gained through his Singh, but then you get the dirty air through the high-speed chicane and it's all gone. And it's tricky. You sort of almost need even less downforce to make the move before the chicane, or a little bit more so that the dirty air isn't as bad. It's a tricky balance, and Singh just not quite able to follow through turn 6 or that 7-8 chicane. I guess it's probably 9 and 10, and to make that move.
Yeah, but Singh much closer to Kurtz in the final sector as he was last time around, but just not able to stay close enough. Traffic's getting involved as we move on to the penultimate lap. Kurtz has cut nicely up to Junio Lopez here, and he's actually on basically the diffuser of Lopez as we head onto the penultimate lap. And look at how close Casper Kurtz is here, heading towards turn 3 in the slipstream. Moves out to the outside, but Lopez, I'd imagine, will stay ahead once more. But this battling is now going to allow Singh to get in on some of this action. Kurtz goes wide, but now is super close to Junio Lopez heading into turn 6. And both of them flick it in. Lopez goes a bit wide, but so does Kurtz, and that's pushed him back closer to Singh. And Singh, this time around, has that speed advantage and has a much better exit with lots of slipstream. And just look at how much he's gaining. Singh moves to the outside here, but Kurtz will get the slipstream from Junio Lopez. Singh on the outside, just not able to brake late enough. Oh, but Kurtz is well wide! Oh, but it's lucky he's able to keep that speed up, but he gets a penalty. There we go. That's a drive-through for Kurtz.
I was just going to say it, because Kurtz was wide at turn 4, and he was super wide at the chicane, and unfortunately this was coming. You can't do too many track limit violations before you'll get a drive-through. Whoa, what's going on here? We've got Ben Skinner involved, Joe Gillette's involved, and Gillette as... I think this is Gillette. Let's see what happened here. And then, well, okay. So with Sandeep Singh here. Oh no, we're not watching Sandeep Singh. This is the other car, the Potentia. Wow, Joe! Bouncing over the anti-cut sausage curb thing. And okay, so it looked much more. Whoa, no. You've got away with that one, Joe. Very much got away with that one. Any contact there, and that's a slam dunk penalty, unfortunately. Kurtz has done his drive-through, presumably, and is now in P4. And that's not as much time lost as I thought he would lose, to be honest with you. Has he done his drive-through? If he's done his drive-through and only lost 7 or 8 seconds, then you know, fair play. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. So, yeah.
Wow.
Shows you how... So the reason for that is because, if you look, it's a very short actual on the pit limiter pit lane. And, of course, the Formula Sprint 2 cars aren't that quick in a straight line. So Amari takes him whilst he's serving that penalty, but James Knox not close enough to make Kurtz lose any more positions. So maybe it's almost a strategy, I suppose, isn't it, that you can push the limits, especially if it was a wet race. I mean, you could definitely push the limits and not lose too much time in the pit lane, 5 or 6 seconds. So, but anyway, final lap, and Junior Lopez looks like he's going to win, Alex.
Yeah, Junior Lopez lights to finish, crosses the line for the first time in 2025 to become the first winner in Formula Sprint 2 for Scuderia Cap Clay. Junior Lopez wins race 1. Sandeep Singh in second. Omari Watson with a last-minute penalty for Kasper Kuritz takes third. Kuritz manages to take fourth. Ockenhaug right at the end gets past James Knox for fifth. And Knox crosses the line in 6th, Capelli 7th, Falkenhayn 8th, and Flavev. Oh, Van der Smissen drops at the end of the race too, down to P12.
He's going to drop further than that because he didn't serve his penalty, and you have 25 seconds added to your time if you don't serve a penalty. So he is going to continue dropping until he has basically had 25 seconds added to his drive. So, Justin, you have to serve the penalty before the final lap, my friend, or else this happens in R Factor 2, and that's what's happened there. Unbelievable race then, Alex.
Just incidents. There's a couple of them, but the results. Go ahead, Toby.
Thank you. Junior Lopez, as you said, crossed the line first, lights to flag victory, and our first race winner of 2025 in GPVWC. Sandeep Singh, P2 for Potentia. A great debut for them. Orbit Motorsports, Amari Watson finished P3, and Kasper Kuritz clinging on to 4th place despite that drive-through penalty. Magnus Ockenau 5th for Hunter Birch. That's a good result for them. James Knox 6th. Scapelli in the other Potentia 7th place. Falkenhayn in 8th. Kanaya for the Academy team. Great result for him in 9th. And Van der Smissen did get the top 10 that I thought he might in for VMS. 11th place, Samui Slabev. Ben Skinner in 12th. Joe Gillette in 13th place with Craig Patterson behind him 14th. Tetzoli in 15th place with Karatko 16th. Josh Flynn 17th place for Fraccionera. 18th went to Carola, 19th for Menik, and Mano Manakanda Presti in 20th place. 21st for Brody Lawless. I know the numbers are wrong. 22nd for Rotjav in the Exelion car. He'll look to make some progress in race 2. Johannes Leppert 23rd with Florian Haase 24th. Thijs Youngstra 25th place. David De Vrij 26th. Mahalo Vicentievich 27th. And then Vakuinov, Chavinsky and Penny DNFs, along with Kanda and Tourmala on the first lap. And unfortunately for all of those guys, they will have to start there in race 2. The top 15, it's from 10th to 15th, can be reversed. Who's going to be reversed?
Well, I do still have the spreadsheet from last year, so I'm going to pull this up.
Oh, yes.
I believe it was P13 that we didn't see at all last year. Let's see.
Yeah, let's have a look at the bring the spreadsheet up, my friend. Let's have a look. Let's have a gamble.
So we did not have a single P11 reverse grid last season. Not a single one.
Didn't have a what?
We didn't have a P11 reverse grid last season.
Wow.
The most common was P10 and P14. And then 12th, 13th, and 15th, but not a single P11. So maybe we'll break the P11 curse this season. It'll be a celebration when we do, of course.
Well, let's go with P11 as the likely reverse then, shall we?
Probably right.
That'd be great. Right, so the race is complete. We're just going to have a quick advert break so I can fill my water bottle up, and then we'll go into race 2. So we'll just run a couple of quick ads, and I'll be right back. Right, welcome back. I am suitably hydratable after filling up my water bottle, which is nice for me. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the first race of the season. I think looking at some of the chat, we had some interesting comments in the YouTube chat. Thank you for messaging where you can. Appreciate it. And let's have a great race too. Anyone got a nice prediction? That would be the time to mention it now. Of course, we're waiting for the reverse grid to be announced, so we'll go from there. Alex, any thoughts on what we've seen so far? Oh, Alex is not back yet. Oh well, I didn't know that. Well, Alex, what do you think about the first race? Oh, I thought it was pretty good. Oh, that's good. Good to hear. I think, personally myself, I would say that Junior Lopez drove an excellent race and never really looked like he was going to miss out on that race win, having had the first pole position of the season as well. And he drove a very, very good race. I think I'm more excited to see who in the reverse grid bit will end up being right up there in the front of the field, and there's some guys who are starting further down the field who will not want to be there. Kurt Rotiar, for example, for Exelion. Tomala for Cap Clay, obviously his teammate winning the race. He's starting from right at the back of the grid. It'd be interesting to see if those guys can come through the field. I will briefly mention that we do have the next race in the career ladder. If you missed it from the first race warm-up, that will be on Thursday for Formula Sprint 1, where Owen Harmon will be joined by Alex Hallows, and I'm excited about that particular commentary lineup for this season. And then Tuesday next week will be Ross McIntyre and Carlos Martin commentating, whilst Ed Hunter will be joined by Caitlin Penny, or vice versa if you like, for Super League next Thursday. And it's nice to see Caitlin back. She's been the voice of GPVWC's Super League season for the series for the last few seasons, and Ed was an absolute superstar last season. Was always the voice of GPVWC, if you like. For last season, he is now permanently in Super League, and I'm very much looking forward to what those two guys can come up with commentary-wise, for the first round. I am hopeful that Alex is back.
Yes. Still no P11 reverse grid, by the way.
I know. Do you want to announce this one?
Yes, it is P10 for the 5th time since I started commentating FS2.
Love that data.
I legitimately have the statistics up here. It's very sad. Don't worry about it.
I wouldn't call it sad. I think I like a bit of data and some technical wizardry.
Well, this is only for 14 races. That's a problem.
You didn't put the last 2 of the season in. Your data is flawed, about as flawed as my ChatGPT data that I tried to use for some of the articles.
Yes. Put a flag next to this person's name.
Yeah, and then it went Netherlands. The person was French. It's close enough. Just turn the flag sideways. I've just offended every Dutch person. I do like a flag, though. What's your favourite flag, Alex?
Oh, my favourite flag.
Yes, I've got. I know. This is an easy answer for me.
What, you say the Union Jack and the all?
No,
thing.
It's not the Union flag. No, because that's a terrible flag. It is
a terrible flag.
It's very much forced. It's not been designed that way. It's been forced to be designed that way because it's a union, right? So it's very much the union of the countries that make it up, apart from Wales, because, you know, who cares about Wales, I guess.
Well, the Nepalese flag is a very interesting one.
The Nepalese flag is the only flag that is not rectangular or square, isn't it?
Yes, so it's better by that logic.
It's not. It's 2 triangles. It's awful. The correct answer to this question is the Seychelles flag. Waiting for Alex to Google that.
I'm not even going to try it. Also, I've updated.
You can't spell Seychelles.
I can spell Seychelles. SEYCHELLES.
Well, Google the flag then.
I can't be bothered.
Well, I'll send it
I'm
to you.
too busy looking at my Excel spreadsheet.
I'm wondering why you've got the data wrong.
The data is now correct. Okay.
Here you go, my friend. Here's the Seychelles flag. Look at this. Look at that flag. And now you've sent me a screenshot. Yep. What? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17. 17, yeah. Okay, so that includes today. Okay, fine. So we're still no P11 reverse grid. We've only had 3 12s, 2 15s, 4 14s, 2 13s, and now, as you say, 5 10s. So 10 is a very popular reverse.
6 10s.
6? Oh, yeah, I can't count. Oh, there's a little table on the right. I just manually counted all of them. You should post this in the Discord so that anyone who's on the Discord can follow along with what our nonsense.
Yes. It will get posted into the Formula Sprint 2 channel for anyone that wants to look at this.
And this is Seychelles flag. I will also accept as the best flag in the world the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Oh, what a flag.
Okay, this one I will look up.
Oh, so nice. The turquoise and the yellow. So nice. They know how to design a flag in hot countries with palm trees, you know?
I knew it reminded me of something. I like the Barbados flag as well, to be honest.
Barbados. Yes, I will also accept Barbados. It's a very similar sort of idea. I'm not a fan of symbols on flags, though. But, yeah, the colours are cool. I mean, the Barbados one is a very nice symbol. It's a very sort of simple, stylized, recognizable trident thing. But I you know, generally speaking, I don't like the Spanish flag for that reason, or the Andorran flag. Yeah, I think, personally, simple colours, bold, sharp lines, and things that haven't had to be mismatched together, like the South African one, you know, which is obviously the Netherlands flag with the new colours running through it. I don't like it. It's I get the idea, but it's just not. It's not for me. Same with the UK one, obviously. And did you know France changed the colour of their blue recently?
I did not. No. This is news.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago now, but recently in the history of France, they changed the shade that their blue is. So yeah, not ideal.
Alice Stone has posted the picture of the Kazakhstan flag in response to what I can only imagine is the favorite flag.
I mean, personally, I would say not
no, not a
yeah,
fan.
I mean, the colours are cool. I don't mind a bit of turquoise. You know, Fiji's a nice shade of turquoise, but it's the amount of complexity to that to reproduce. I mean, ask someone to draw the Finnish flag.
Yes,
Easy.
Very easy.
Yeah. Owen McCorkey has just done.
That's awesome.
I don't know if he's just done that now or if he had it ready to go based on the Seychelles flag, but I absolutely love that.
Oh dear.
Oh, good. Right, we're talking about Discord, not what's happening on screen. We didn't look at. I don't know about you. I didn't look at the screen once. Oh, Justin van der Smissens messaged me. I got my penalty on the final lap for your information, so it wasn't any way to serve. I had 3 points and instantly drive through going wide, losing tyre, only gained it back because slipstream, otherwise had P10, just FYI. Yes, true. I read out the results and he was in P10 in the results, but of course the penalty hadn't been applied by that point. So yeah, unfortunately for van der Smissen, he doesn't start on the front row of the grid. He will start instead in P18, which is where he finished in that race. So yeah. Is it my turn? Read the grid out?
Yeah, you can do if you want to.
No, I think, no, is it my turn was the question, not if you want.
Well, I did the last grid, but you also did the results.
So therefore it's my turn.
Yes.
And then you do the results. That's how we do.
Yes,
right, there we go.
That's how we do.
Well, I'm glad we've organised that and sorted that out. Slavev is on pole with Andrea Kanaya for GPVWC Academy in P2, Falkenhayn in P3, and fourth is Scapelli for Potentia Grand Prix. Fifth place, James Knox, Ockenhaug in P6, Casper Koritz in seventh place with Amari Watson in eighth. And then we have the other two podium sitters from race one, Sandeep Singh and Junior Lopez running at the top 10. That is the reverse grid. Then the race one results is set to the rest of the grid. So 11th place, Ben Skinner and Joe Gillette, P12. P13, Craig Patterson. P14, Damir Karatko. Eunice Karala in 15th place with Josh Flynn in 16th position. 17th is Charlotte Menink with Justin van der Smissen in 18th, as we mentioned. Brody Lawless in 19th and Kurt Rotiab in 20th. Keep an eye out for those two to make some progress through the field. 21st, Johannes Leppit Tassoli for the Academy team in 22nd. Manakanda in 23rd and Florian Hauser in 24th position. 25th is Thijs Jongstra with David de Vree in 26th place. Mahila Vicentievich in 27th with Vakuinov in 28th position. And then some more names to watch. Philip Chinovinsky in 29th. Caitlin Penny will be hoping to do a little more laps than one in race 2. Shimon Kanda and Tomala also expect them to make some progress through the field. That rounds out the grid for race 2. So Slavev in pole position. Let's see what he can do in this race. I'm going to keep an eye out on Falkenhayn. I think Falkenhayn and Scapelli could do well here. And of course, it all depends on what they've done setup-wise for race 2. But if Singh keeps that low downforce setup or even goes even lower, he might fancy a chance at the overall victory here, given his pace in race 1.
Predictions,
Alex,
Toby.
Yeah, I was just going to say predictions. I'm going to go with Casper Koritz actually, from P7 on the grid. think he had very, very good pace in race 1. What about you?
I honestly want to say Ockenhaug or James Knox. In fact, I'm going to go with James Knox. I'm going to back James Knox here. I think he had a good showing in race 1, and there's plenty of time in race 2 to pick up those 5 positions and defend if he gets to the front.
Yep, absolutely. Right, so they are all lined up on the grid now, and the red lights are on. There's 5 of them. And now there isn't, and the race is underway. Slavev on the right-hand side of your screen gets a great launch, actually, and Kanaya has to slot in behind and is unable to attack as they go down towards turn 1 for the first time. Slotting into 4th place was Capelli with Knox directly behind, and Ockenhaug in P6, and they're squabbling away as they try and find some track position. Heading down towards the dangerous turn 3. Let's hope this time around everyone gets through safely as James Knox throws it down the inside of Capelli, who gives him enough room, but they all survive so far. Further back, there's a little bit of tippy-tappies, but nothing too bad, and with the whole field is not missing a front wing, and I am very pleased to say that, as 2 cars go round. Vicentievich involved, Tuamale, who has had a really rough opening to the 25 FS2 Championship. Ockenhaug P6, though, we're watching him slotting behind Knox, and Koritz has not made a position, neither has Watson Singh, and Lopez has actually lost a place off the start, Alex.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Lopez, but he gets it right back on this straight as Ben Skinner drops back a bit further. Ockenhaug was right on the back of James Knox there, but just unable to get out of the way in time. There's Kasper Kuritz off the track once again, doing the same thing he did in race 1, but slowing down this time. Will lose a position to Omari Watson. 3 wide almost. Junior Lopez thinks better of it, though, to try and get past Kuritz and Omari Watson at the same time. Kuritz now fighting for P8. He's down a position. And he gets it gifted back immediately as James Knox, James Knox, I think, or no, Michael
Singh. Singh's missing a wing. So Sandeep Singh into the pit lane then, and he is so him and Falkenhayn, so those 2 both missing wings, and this is the problem. Oh, hello. Tell me they weren't in the same. They tell me they weren't in the same box. Kanaya leads then. So Kanaya from Scapelli, James Knox P3, Slavev down to 5th then. Not sure exactly how that happened because obviously we were watching these 2 pit, but Slavev lost a lot of ground in the towards in and out of turn 1. I think he probably ran wide or something. But Kanaya leads for the academy team, and Scapelli P2 with James Knox fighting away. He's going to try and make a move on Scapelli. Scapelli, look at even in slipstream, and Scapelli is holding that ground, showing how much that Potentia is quick in a straight line, and Knox unable to even make a move on him, and now of course Scapelli trying to go around the outside of Kanaya. They both go through. Knox to P2. It's all change.
Yeah, a very nice follow through by James Knox there to get past Shania, and Ockenhaug capitalizing as well on the poor exit for the Academy car, down 4 places in just 2 corners. That's unfortunate for Shania, but now the battle is with Scarpelli and Knox at the front. Ockenhaug will be looking to get in on this as Knox tries to get the better exit onto the first or the main straight of the circuit, and it looks like he's got a slightly better exit. Will have that slipstream, but Scarpelli with that faster setup will be able to hold Knox behind just a little bit longer than he otherwise would be able to. Ockenhaug sets the best lap time of 37.158. Kuritz down the inside of Slavev, drops Slavev down to P6 already, and Lopez is here as well. He's caught up right to the back of the I don't even know the name of that car. Yeah, the yellow one. You saw it. He made it past up to P6.
The yellow one.
The yellow one. But I already touched the one.
Yeah, fair. The vape. Sorry, I mean the vapes vote is what we're trying to work out, isn't it? How to say that? Slavev. Yeah, he's obviously on pole position. And this is what happened in the reverse grid. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. That academy car for Kanaya, look, he was in the lead momentarily, and now he's going to be swamped as they head down toward. It must be 9 and 10. Is it 9 and 10 this chicane? I should check really. As Koritz makes his way to P4, and they're side by side as they go through. Further up, Koritz goes through, and Scapelli leads. Then Knox has lost position to Ockenhaug, and Ockenhaug makes his way through for Hunter Birch to P2. And now, can he set about Scapelli? Can Hunter Birch take a victory?
Yeah, it's very possible. 12 laps to go. I think Knox ran wide in what I'm going to say is turn 10. No, turn 9 even. I think the two squiggles in the straight, or the quote-unquote straight after turn 6 do count.
7th and 8th, yeah.
Scapelli, slight, or slithers over the line, I should say. Ockenhaug right on the back, though, with that slipstream, and tries to get the better exit out of turn 2, but is just unable to catch up through the corners. Scapelli with a great bit of clean air in front of him, really being slowed down by the wash of that Potentia car, and Knox still has to try and catch up, but Kurtz has pushed up well, has managed to secure a little bit of a gap between him and Lopez as Karatko gets overtaken around the outside by Brody Lawless, and those two Scuderia Hakianera cars, P13, P14. Sandeep Singh coming out of the pit lane sets the fastest lap of 36.0 as Josh Flynn comes under attack by Kurt Rochov here in the Exelion Motorsports car. Tries to get the slipstream, but they just look so evenly matched. As soon as Rochov pulls out of that slipstream, the downforce is just letting Flynn ahead. And that's Lopez past Kasper Kuritz. That's Shanaglia well wide through turn 9. Ben Skinner is on the back of that and might get a move done here into turn 10 down the inside, and late on the brakes is not very
hip and shoulders.
clean.
No, he gave him a full hip and shoulders. And Joe Gillette trying to capsize. That's not going to work. Round goes Kanaya and into the wall, loses his front wing. And I'm sorry to say, he just got bullied there by a couple of drivers, and that's not what you want to see in Formula Sprint 2. And he on for a great result, and unfortunately just wasn't happening for him. He was very slow out of the tight right-hander. I'm not too sure, because it was Skinner that was pushed wide, wasn't it? And Kanaya was very slow on the entry to the fast right. So
no, Kanaya was pushed out onto the
Kanaya was pushed out. Oh right, okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah, no, you're right. Skinner pushed him out. Yeah, no, you're right. So Kanaya, yeah, I was right. Bullied by a couple of drivers, and that's not what you want to see for an end to a race there for Andrea. Amari Watson has not made any progress really in this race. He's still P9, unlike Junior Lopez, who is up with the front 3 and looking very, very likely to try and do something about that. Actually, Lopez right on the back of James Knox further up, and James Knox and Ockenhaug battling away. They would do better at this stage to try and hold position if they can.
Yeah, I think battling is just going to push them into Kasper Kuritz behind, who already relatively close and close enough in striking distance if any one of them makes a mistake. I mean, just look through that turn 8 and 9 complex, just how much time he's gained as a result of these battling. And Ockenhaug a bit late on the brakes. Lopez right up the rear diffuser of that Hunter Birch racing car and through the, I want to say, penultimate corner. Lopez tries to the inside in the penultimate hairpin, just isn't able to find the space and isn't able to find the pace to get past Ockenhaug here, and will have to settle in behind for P4, although Kuritz is right there, and I'd imagine right alongside now, heading into turn 1. Kuritz has to be late on the brakes, but tucks in right behind the Cap Play car.
He knows that there's plenty of time left in this race, Kasper Kuritz, to do something about the drivers in front of him. He wants to stay with Junior Lopez, who he knows has good pace from race 1. This is why I like Formula Sprint 2. This is why GPVWC is one of the best series in the world, and across all 4 leagues, or 5 I suppose. We get this reverse grid in the sprint races, and it's so exhilarating to watch. We just have these drivers fighting their way through the pack, and GPVWC is so back. I'm so glad to be saying those words.
GPVWC is back indeed. We were the most watched series last season, FS2, and with this racing we might just keep it up for a second time around. Lopez trying once more. Magnus Ockenhaug, a bit of a late move on the straight, but just contact, needless contact for Lopez there, and Ockenhaug just able to stay ahead. I'm not sure if he was blocking Lopez there. The DC will have something to say about that, I'm sure, at some point. as we cut to Karatko dipping a wheel onto the grass there.
I think it was okay. You know, it's not like Magnus has moved. He's just sort of drifted to the middle of the track. But it was awesome to watch Lopez think about what he was going to do in that situation. He didn't just drive straight through the back of Ockenhaug, which he could easily have done, given the overspeed that he had. He just sort of lifted off the throttle, played it safe. This is where, you know, you start to get a feeling for what's going to happen for the rest of the season. Brodie Lawless, by the way, up to P8. So he had some superb pace in race 1 after being sort of dropped, after starting in the back and then having to drop back. He is making huge progress in race 2. So shout out to Brodie. And yeah, we've got Kasper Kuritz, his teammate as well, P5. It's a good start to the season for Reading Game overall.
Yeah, with this new driver lineup, they're looking quite strong already at this point of the season. Lawless with an amazing drive, considering he started 32nd in race 1, up 24 positions now to P8, and has Skinner not too far up the road ahead of him. So that's obviously a target. Lopez, again, is close to Ockenhaug. But if you look further ahead, Scarpelli has a nice little cushion between himself and Knox. But Lopez here will have a nice bit of slipstream, potentially into turn 10 as Ockenhaug dips onto the grass. And here's Lopez's opportunity in turn 10 if he wants to try it. But he's just biding his time, fills up those mirrors, but doesn't go for a move, as he has the main straight here, as Kuritz closes up to the rear diffuser of that Cap Clay car, and we could see free wide into turn 1 if we are lucky here. Ockenhaug not with the greatest of exits once more. Lopez will have a nice bit of slipstream into turn 1 and has plenty of road space to do it. I'd imagine Ockenhaug is going to pull out to go to the defensive. Lopez on the inside, and this is a sure. Yeah, it's sure for Lopez. Oh, Kuritz makes contact with the back of Ockenhaug.
I thought Kuritz was going straight to the scene of the accident then. He did really well to hang on to it, as he very, very nearly stuffed it straight into the back of Ockenhaug. But great job from Kuritz to hold on to that one. He'll go again. Lopez obviously making that progress slowly, but still within touching distance of Scarpelli. He knows he has plenty of laps left, only halfway through the race at this stage, to make those positions up if he can. But Scarpelli has a 1.5 second gap to Knox now, so looking pretty strong for the Potentia driver. Slavev has kind of settled into 6th place now after losing those positions at the start. Watson just not able to get by Gillette either, by the way, from P10. And a bit of a shout out to Rochav and Van der Schmissen. They've made some positions up as well. And Craig Patterson's had a very, very quiet round, as Amari Watson does get by Joe Gillette and moves himself up to P9 now. So Gillette P10.
Yeah, that was a nice bit of driving, it has to be said. Interestingly, Lopez has already had 3 off tracks this race, so he's had 3 invalidations. So that is potentially a problem, and Lopez might have to calm down. 8 laps and having been off track 3 times is a problem, and he is probably, I'd imagine, quite close to a penalty, unless they've all been 0.5s. But even then, you know, he's probably less than 2 major off tracks away from getting a drive-through penalty with 8 laps to go here. Not 8 laps, I can't do mental calculations at all. 7 laps, my apologies.
No, it's all good. Yeah, there's definitely a chance, I think, that Lopez can get the win. But as you say, those off tracks will potentially, you know, cause him issues later on in the race. We don't know exactly, you know, how the point system works for that, because when you go off track, you don't just get like a 1 warning. You get it's a point system. And it's like, I think it's out of 5, and if it's like a slight cut, it's like 0.25 if you lift off. And if it's a big cut, it can be up to like 2.5. So it depends on the severity of the cut and how much time you gain. Here's Patterson then, lining up a move on Joe Gillette, who is struggling for pace at the moment. He's dropping back from Amari Watson. In fact, he's 2 seconds back from Amari. So, as one, the Scuderia Freccianera, it's so hard to say, I've never nailed it, cars, goes very sideways as through goes Patterson. No, he's not able to. But he still has the overlap. This might be done here as they go through the right hand. It's very difficult to hold on around the outside. And Joe Gillette, Smoky Joe on his rear wing, loses out to Patterson.
I just want to point out, James Knox up in P3 behind Junior Lopez. So Ockenhaug, I think, made a mistake at some point to have dropped behind. I probably missed it. It probably did happen on my screen. Who knows? But Ockenhaug behind James Knox, and Lopez with a mighty bit of pace there. Almost 4 tenths quicker. No, almost 6 tenths quicker than James Knox in the second sector, alone on the last lap.
Yeah, and further down, by the way, like Gillette's dropping through the pack, but Ockenhaug for his teammate, and look at this chaos here. The Kurt Brodiav's right up the back of him. In fact, they're 4 abreast coming through the fast turn 6. Gillette has something, I don't know what's gone wrong here. He might have damage or something like that, but yeah, he's struggling right now, isn't he? Kurt Brodiav is going to go through, and behind them, the 2 behind them, Carrala and Youngstra, they've both got slipstream on Gillette, and they're going to try and make it. Oh no, this is 3 wide as we head into turn 9, and they survive. Great driving from everyone there.
Yeah, that's a textbook example of exactly what you want to do going into a situation like that. Kurt Rochav to the inside in turn 10. Nothing really to be made of that. Although a bit of gravel on his wheels and a loss of position to Thijs Youngstra is the result. And Kurt Rochav, slight mistake, costing him, well, a point really.
Yes, down to 15th is the points. And yeah, I'm not going to call it right now, but right now in 15th place is Kurt Rotiav. I would say there's still plenty of laps left for more things to happen, but Gillette falling back to... Oh, on Gillette's side... no, sorry, that's Carrala, isn't it? So Rotiav moves ahead as well. So, in fact, Tassoli's got by, and Josh Flynn for Frenchianera has got through as well. Carrala, huge sideways moment. I wonder if that was... side by side with someone, or if he just did that by himself. I'd love to see a replay. I have to say, I was looking at the timings. It is possible he caught a wheel on the grass or something heading into turn 1, as well as contact. You know, there's those 2 options there, because I've seen that too, where you in fact, look, his car doesn't look like it's particularly wants to go straight. Yeah, wheel on the grass, gets a side, gets it a bit sideways, and catches the slide well. And of course, there's nothing to do in that situation. He had to kind of rejoin there, but all his momentum lost, and down to 17th he goes.
Anyway, we cut to Brodie Lawless defending from Ben Skinner here. Lawless up to 7th already, and we mentioned it just a couple laps ago as Skinner running off track loses time to Brodie Lawless. Like I said, for Lawless, there was still time for him to catch up to Ben Skinner, and there's still time for him to catch up to Samil Slavev. Just 1.6 seconds up the road, and very much in Eye's view as where's Lopez?
5th.
He's down in 5th. What's happened?
What's happened to Junior Lopez? We were watching as I've just noticed I don't know if you mentioned it, Van der Schmissen's got a drive-through penalty. What happened to Lopez then? So he caught Scapelli, bit of an anti-cut bounce. Yes. Oh, and a rotation. And then, of course, all his momentum's gone, so he's going to get mugged down into the to the right-hander at the end of the straight, unfortunately. So, yeah, there goes his opportunity for a race victory in race 2, I think. He's lost a good, what was that, 4 or 5 seconds? Something, maybe 4 seconds. So, yeah, he could maybe squeeze his way back up to P3, but yeah, not ideal from Lopez there.
Yeah, and Lopez, just that pass was relatively easy on Ockenhaug. I think Ockenhaug has sort of realised that's not his race to have at this point. I mean, Lopez just great pace throughout the last couple of laps, thrown away with a spin. But Kasper Kuritz up to P2 again, overtook James Knox at some point. Damir Karatko in P11 gets a penalty. That'll be a drive-through for track limits, and that will promote Kurt Rochav. Once again, I said
that single mistake would cost him a point, but he's got 2 easy positions. He's also got past Thijs Jongstra once more and built a tidy gap to him as we head on to the 13th lap. 3 laps to go, and Scapelli just in a great position here. 2.2 seconds to Kasper Kuritz in second there. Doesn't look that far, but when no mistakes are made, that's a huge distance for Kuritz to try and close.
Yeah, and I think Scapelli has probably got a big enough gap right now. 2.2 seconds at the front of the field. I like it from Scapelli. He's driven very well, whilst others behind him have not, or rather, have made mistakes. So Domenico looking very, very good for a first race victory for Potentia in Formula Sprint 2, and what a debut that would be for them. Kuritz 2 seconds back. He's had 2 great races himself, and I think he'd be pretty close to leading the championship. Obviously Lopez in P4 would lead the championship as they head into the second round at Turkey in 2 weeks' time, and Slavev is holding on nicely into the top 10 and scoring some decent points for Matesfo. So yeah, some good drives going on. Watson's been solid. Craig Patterson's been quiet. I expect him to pick up some pace as the season goes on. He's the sort of person that puts the same amount of effort into every round, as opposed to this first round where I have to say I think a lot of people do more laps than at other rounds.
At the same time, as a two-pronged argument, you have the most time for round 1, I'd say, to prepare. The final car comes about 4 weeks before the actual race, so you get double the time you otherwise would have to prepare. But I think, like you say, the motivation does go down. Kasper Kuritz, by the way, almost 6/10, if not 6/10, improvement on Domenico Scarpelli in that last lap alone. But he's going to have to keep that pace up if he wants to try and attack Domenico Scarpelli on the last couple of laps. And it seems like he is. Although he did lose time in that first sector, he does have the higher top speed compared to Scarpelli. So there's still time. There's still plenty of opportunities. He does, with the caveat that, of course, Scarpelli's always been in front. So Kuritz's top speed might be as a result of a bit of slipstream there. As Lopez is now going round the outside of James Knox, and that is a good move from Lopez, and he needs to make that, actually, if he's got any chance at all in this one. I don't think he's quite got enough laps or time left in the race, really, to make up any more positions than that. As further back, side by side, is Brody Lawless, I think, and going through to P5. So Lawless has quietly made his way all the way up to P5, taking Oggenhaug there. And yeah, Brody, Magnus has hit the back of him, I think, and somehow gets away with that without losing his front wing. Loses 2 positions to Ben Skinner and Slavev. And Oggenhaug's race, at one point he was looking like he might be shaping up for a go at P1. He's now P8 with Amari Watson all over the back of him. Yeah, and Rodchav gets the penalty on lap 14, an off-road penalty, no doubt. Kuritz has an 8/10 of a second gap to Domenico Scarpelli, and I would say that's a lot closer on track than what absolutely the interval would suggest. And
here we go. So sorry to talk about, but like if he gets a good exit through 6 here, there's a chance. He's just got to get a really good exit. A bit on the grass a bit on the gravel for Scarpelli, and here we go then. So Kuritz, can he suck himself towards Scarpelli in that slipstream? It's going to suck him towards Scarpelli as they go in towards 9 and 10. Kuritz, why would you not be in the slipstream? Trying to do something a bit different with Scarpelli, trying to put him off, get in his mirrors as they go through. Kuritz has thrown everything out the corner, and that's it. And Kuritz trying his very hardest, throws it into the chicane, and that's it, unfortunately.
James Knox at a penalty on the last lap as well. That's
he won't be able to serve it. He'll have a 25-second penalty right at the end now.
But Scarpelli, by the skin of his teeth, holds on to P1 in race 2. Kuritz right there behind him. Too much, too late for Kuritz. Domenico Scarpelli crosses the line
in race 2 to win for Potentia Grand Prix. Kuritz P2, Lopez from P10 finishes in P3, and Lawless at P4 as James Knox gets that drive-through penalty on the last lap. And what a great race 2 for Reading Game there.
Yeah, absolutely. Knox doesn't know, but he's still going to get a 25-second penalty for even though he's pitted, unfortunately. So whatever he does here, it's just going to add 25 seconds to his race time. Unfortunately for James, you have to serve it on a lap before the last lap. It's a sad thing about R22, that one, but it's how it is. But Scapelli, what a drive from the Italian for Potentia. Great job from him.
Yeah, that was a close moment, I would say, and he was very close to losing it. And Kasper Kuritz as well was very close to throwing it all away, very close to the end there. So very fortunate for Kuritz to have not. Very fortunate for Scapelli that Kuritz just tried to do too much into turn 8 and ended up spinning round. As I think that's wow.
That's Joe Gillette.
That's a ritual going on.
Doing some stuff.
Yes.
Right, so Scapelli wins then. Race 2 at round 1. Kuritz P2 and Junior Lopez will lead the championship in P3. Brody Lawless 4th, Ockenau 5th, Ben Skinner 6th, Amari Watson 7th place. Craig Patterson finally finishes in 8th after all of that. Karatko 9th and Joe Gillette P10. 11th place for James Knox, 12th for Youngstra, 13th for Vakunov, Karala finishing 14th, and the final point scorer is Kanda in 15th, Josh Flynn 16th, Tormala 17th, Lepit 18th, Rotiab 19th, and Sandeep Singh P20, and disappointed with that, I'm sure. Charlotte Menink in 21st, Tatsoli in 22nd, Caitlin Penny 23rd place, Evander Smithson 24th, DeFree in 25th, and the final finisher was Travinsky in 26th. Blabev, Vicentievich, Malakandan, and Kanaya, and also retiring were Falkenhayn and Haza. They were the last 2 retirements, or rather the first 2, I suppose.
Shout out to Kasper Kuritz, by the way. We're 38-degree Thiever racing for P2 and P4.
Well, isn't 38 degrees not that much above normal temperature?
No. So normal temperature is around 36.
37, right?
Normal body temperature. It is 37.
Yeah. So I mean,
a fever
of course,
is still a fever.
Yeah. He's still a bit hot. But yeah, like I'm not going to argue with you. He's definitely ill.
That's an illness.
Yeah, but like 40 degrees and over is like, you know, when you're really struggling
at that point.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Like I was at 40 degrees in COVID. Anyway, look, it's not a he said, she said.
Interviews.
It's time for interviews. Yes.
Yes.
And I'm going to start with Kasper. No, I'm not. I'm going to start with Junior Lopez, who was race winner in race 1. Hello, sir, Junior. Hi, congratulations on being our championship leader after the first 2 races. Obviously, race 1 went very, very well for you. Can you, talk us through how that went?
I mean, I was a pile of nerves before race 1, man. But I just Kasper and Sandeep were so fast, to be honest. But I guess everything went well. Nothing major happened, to be honest. I kept the position, so.
Oh well, absolutely. I mean, you put it on pole by a little bit of a gap there as well. So obviously you've been practicing hard for this round. How do you feel about Turkey in 2 weeks' time?
Got to replicate the same stuff.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And final thoughts. Obviously, you had a great round. Tuamala, your teammate, not so good. Will you come back stronger as Cap Clay for the next race?
Always. It wouldn't be him if he was happy with 1 point. So always coming stronger.
Happy days. Well, congratulations. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
Alex, would you like to do the next interview with Kasper Kuritz?
Yeah, sure.
Let's bring him in.
Casper,
Hello.
how are you? How was race 1? Unfortunate to get a drive through so late, but race 2. How was race 2 for you?
Best. I mean, position-wise and result-wise, this could have gone better. Although it went better than I expected with the health conditions I'm in. But yeah, the race 2 went really well. Yeah, and congrats to Tommy as well. And race 1 just tried to, pass Sandeep and went wide and got that 2 points or something to get the penalty.
And what's your plans for next time in Turkey?
Get better, not be sick. Practice with an actual setup, because with the help of Patrick or Magnusson, we got our setup like 20 minutes before the race to actually be competitive with. And just prepare more and drink tea and take medicine.
Yes. Well, congratulations on P4 and P2. I'm pretty sure that puts you in second for the championship. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, congratulations, and hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope you feel better soon, Casper. Yeah. Obviously, it's not nice being unwell. I was joking about his temperature. Finally, let's speak to Domenico Scapelli. Domenico, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Just fine?
I think so, yeah.
Come on. Tell us how it feels.
It's incredible. I was on my own, but at some point in the race I see, oh no, Junior Lopez is behind me. And I started panicking in that moment. It was like after lap 9, my tires were dropping off completely. Like compared to my race 1, my front left was like 6% less. And that was really scary. But then I've seen Junior Lopez spinning after the chicane, and after that I just said, yeah, this is it, I can fumble. And thankfully I didn't, so I'm really happy with that.
Oh, excellent. Good stuff. I mean, obviously, your best result before today was 7th last season in Spain. So to be talking to you after the race as a race victor shows how much you yourself have come on over the winter. I mean, is that something you've worked hard on, your pace overall, or I mean, is it nice to be with Potentia? Are you part of the TOP group?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean,
we are not a group.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It helps to be part of a bigger organization like that. Absolutely, completely understand how that works, and how's that helping you?
I mean, TOP part of the FS2 in the end is just me and Sandy and Omari Wilson, but I think we are a great group all together, and we practice together, and this definitely helped me a lot. I had the help of Sandy to guiding me in that final sector, because all over the weekend, or at least the past 2 weeks, I struggled a lot in that sector. So after watching his laps, telemetry and stuff like that, it got better and better, and I'm really happy of this. So definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, so well done, race 2, fantastic result.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Right, Alex, that's the first round complete.
Yes.
And thank you for joining me. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I do have some final thoughts.
Okay.
I think that's the first time in a while I've looked forward to an FS2 race.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was really interesting, wasn't it? Actually, the race 2 was really cool to watch. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it went, Alex.
Yeah, and definitely excited for next time around in Turkey. But there is more races to go. I'll steal this bit from you. On Thursday will be FS1 with Ian Harmon and Alex Hallows. I
Yes.
feel like I got his name wrong. Alex Hallows. Okay, good.
That's right, yeah.
Then 1 week time on Tuesday will be Ross McIntyre and Carlos Martin with Super League, Super Light, sorry. And then on Thursday, Super League with Ed Hunter and Caitlin Penny. So there's more racing. Don't go yet.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Fabian Jungbluth, as well. Very much appreciate your work today. We will look ahead for the next few races, as Alex has mentioned. But until then, I've been Toby Davis. Enjoy your evening, and goodbye for now.
Bye.